it was getting hot on defense, and it always is, to be fair. I mean, it's probably even more tumultuous today than it was when we were doing this conference, but it was a cool engagement because we had a lot of great people participate, and we had some really awesome breakout sessions. So some of our panelists included, our keynote speaker was Javen Santos, who was really awesome. Um, Amber Beneventi facilitated our first panel, which featured Lincoln Budasi, Keisha Borja Kichichukavo, Dr. Keisha Borja Kichichukavo, Dr. Carlisle Corbin. That was a really great panel on our militarized realities and reshaping perceptions. Um, we also had a Manhoban Mobilizing Youth panel, which was facilitated by the lovely Cameron Kitugwe and featured Gianna Limtiaco, Sophia Underwood, Harmony Polygonis, and Nolan Flores. Harmony, of course, works with our office, and Nolan used to work with our office, where he was working with us at that time. But the two of them were on this panel with Sophia Underwood and Gianna Limtiaco at the time because Gianna was our intern, and and Sophia Underwood is the advisor of the for the Youth for Decolonization Club. And so it was a cool panel to kind of just talk about the different strategies that we've used and our partners and how we've engaged young people. Gianna is actually my niece, but she's my first cousin's daughter. And she ended up becoming an intern with us because she was a part of the youth summer internship program. And so all the departments and agencies, they take on an intern, and any intern that has come through our office knows that it is not like a chill assignment. These guys go hard. Like they gotta go in there and like do research. We have them work with us on developing content. We integrate them into our outreach. And so, our two interns that year they did a bunch of outreach with our team, which is really fun for them because it definitely is nerve wracking. You can tell these young people when sir, I have to speak. I got to speak in front of this crowd of my peers. Why? Because that's what we do, young person. That's what we do here. That's how it's gonna be. So, it was a cool thing because you can really see the growth of these young people. How the more they get comfortable with the content, the more confident they become, and you can't help but imagine what the conversation around self-government, decolonization, Tomoto self-determination, what does it look like in Guam when there are people, so many people who feel really comfortable in having this discussion. They feel really comfortable with the information. They know exactly what they're talking about. How does it change? I have this experience a lot. I mean, I just ran into my auntie at Panda Express last week, and she just stopped me to tell me, "Hey, keep Uncle in your prayers because he's having surgery soon." And somehow that conversation, that's how we started, and we ended up talking about just some of the impacts that we're feeling from the military buildup. Even just talking about the housing crisis, right, and this reality that has been created for us where military housing allowance is higher than what the average family can afford to pay in rent, and that then creating a situation where locals are being priced out of being able to survive and live in Guam, have a place to stay, and how that that's not. It's not. I don't necessarily think it's malicious or deliberate. I don't think anybody came in and said, "Oh yeah, let's just do it like this so that we can price out locals." But nonetheless, we don't have agency in changing it, right? We don't have any mechanism to say, okay, this is how we're going to deal with this dynamic, and that all of those things are possible if there's a mechanism for it through a change in political status, right? Like if we were a state, if we were freely associated, if we were independent, each one of those political status options gives us a viable opportunity to address something like pricing out locals in the housing market because of military housing allowance. That can be resolved in a compact of free association. It can be resolved in a status of forces agreement if you're an independent nation. And it can be resolved through Congress if you have voting representation as a state. So, I mean, every status but the territorial status has a mechanism to address that. And so, I think when we talk about these things, when people feel comfortable in this dialogue, I feel like the conversation becomes more everyday. And I feel like that's what it needs to be. Like right now, don't get me wrong, I enjoy me a little like radical excitement. Like, oh man, here's Melvin's talking about political self-determination again. It's radical. He's just trying to rile people up. I like me some of that. I'm not gonna lie, but I really look forward to the point when, talking about decolonization and self-determination is just kind of every day. Everybody knows about it, and everybody's talking about it, and it's a part of everything that we discuss. Like every little thing that we talk about, it always somehow ends up being about political status. I think at that point, we have it represents a very educated community, very aware community. They know what the deficiencies of being a territory are, and then they also know what they want. And I think that everybody's different. Everybody has a different take on what they want and what's really important to them. Going back to this conference, in day 3 of the conference, we had a panel on the new missile age, centering Guam's genuine security, and the panel featured Mr. Leland Bettis, who is the former director of the Commission on Self-Determination, Dr. Kenneth Gulfigan Cooper, professor at the University of Guam, and also a member of the Pacific Center for Island Security, Dr. Lisa Linda Natividad, and we invited JRM, the Joint Region Marianas. We invited a representative from JRM. We actually extended the invitation to the Rear Admiral, who declined, just to be completely transparent. JRM, we were engaged in discussion with JRM for a while to try to secure participation. But in the end, they decided not to attend. And I got to say that I was a little disappointed. The panel, nonetheless, was great. Leland Bettis, Dr. Cooper, Dr. Natividad were fantastic. And I thought that they had a worthy discussion. I just thought that our goal was to be able to have a discourse between these perspectives and this other perspective that says that, the way that we're going to create peace in the region and the way that we're going to create security in the region is through, beefing up the missile defense system. And, what are the implications of that? And we've talked a little bit about this in the past on this show that, for me, my biggest gripe is that the way that it's been done, the way it's been done is blatantly disregarding, or I guess blatantly acknowledging the deficiency of our status. The fact that funding for the missile defense system, whether you love it or hate it, okay, this is not about whether you think it's effective or not, but Congress approved funding for that project before Guam even knew that it was going to happen. This was not a part of the original EIS or not a part of the original agreement with the government of Guam for the military buildup. There are a lot of other things, a lot of other associated projects that were connected to the buildup. but this was not one of them. And this one just kind of came out, came up. The conflict between in China and the United States has escalated, and so here we are. But I think that's the thing that I feel like should get more red flags from more people, is that this is just kind of being decided, like, oh yeah, we're gonna make an executive decision here, regardless of how this affects you, and we'll still do the whole thing, like, have the hearings and the EIS and all of that, but we're gonna do this anyway because it has to be done. And this is just not possible. This would not be possible if Guam was freely associated, if Guam was independent, or if Guam was a state. It's just not. That's not how it works. There are way more kind of procedural protections for a local government in that scenario. Anyway, I'm making a boo-boo here, and we're like almost halfway in the second hour. It's the first time that I'm saying the phone number. And we even gave props to the whole, like, we want to hear from you messaging, which I genuinely, I love it. I super love it. But anyway, if I've been on one, guys, it's the Monday after the Sunday of the Easter. I've been in the mode. But the number is 922-1051, and that's also the WhatsApp number. Don't forget the 671-67 Uno. 922-1051 if you want to call in, or if you want to WhatsApp. And if you can't get through on that, the number is 922-1052. But the 52 is not a WhatsApp. And I am looking at the screen, and Reese got my back on the wave stream. So if you're commenting, we got you.
I was going to say, don't worry. There's many different things to tell them.
Yep. Lots of places to catch it. If you are on the YouTube, Wave has a live stream on YouTube. Guam COD, if you follow us there, we are on Instagram Live. And of course, if you're out on the radio land frequencies, it's 105.1. Yes. I just discovered my mom's radio. I bought my mom one of these like battery powered radios. That's also a boombox, you know what I mean? Like a waterproof boombox. And I got it specifically because it also has a radio. It's not just like a Bluetooth thing, but it has a radio. But turns out that in Malolo, that radio sucks. It sucks. And it's so funny because I was like, let's just pick a station, okay? I'm just going to set the station because it doesn't have like a cool little dial, right? There's no screen on it. You just kind of hit the buttons and it changes like 0.5 at a time or something. So I asked my mom, I was like, Ma, what radio station do you listen to? And we'll just put it on that. And she's like, the station night that you're on? The one that you do your show on? I like that station. And I was like, all right, cool. So I put it on 105.1. And it only works if my hand is like on the corner of it. It's like one of the it reminded me when I was like a little kid and I'm like putting foil on my antenna, trying to like get Saturday Night Live on my TV. Yep. You have to like stand in a certain position in order for this reception to come through. But I don't blame 105, guys. I blame my mom's like super intense concrete house. Yeah, that's totally what it is. Because we don't catch nothing down there. Nothing. Anyway, conference. We're talking about conference, guys. We had some great discussion at the fourth Fanhita conference, which was what was this? May 7th. Or shoot, that's this conference. I'm over here jumping ahead. But since I did, the fourth Fanhita conference is going to be May 6th and 7th. And it'll be 8 to 4 p.m. each day at the Hyatt Regency Guam. The theme for this year's conference is Let's Talk About It. The kind of trying to stick true to this idea that we want to expand the dialogue This is what we're really going to focus on this year is ways that the community can get engaged, get involved, and be armed with information so that they themselves can perpetuate the discussion locally, regionally, and internationally. I think that Guam's political status, in the way that in regard to our external engagement and our quote, foreign affairs, international affairs, we don't have a lot of control and agency in the way that we are able to create relationships, partnerships, engage in discussions with other nations. We are allowed to engage in discussions and actions with our neighbors in Micronesia, but of course, to a degree, right? As long as it has to be consistent with the United States. But internationally, outside of our region, there really is very, very little opportunity for us to do that. And I mean, we don't even engage in the discussion, right? That all goes through the United States State Department. But there are I think the double-edged sword of it is that there are other places where, because of that reality, there are other places where we have a voice or a place at the table, a seat at the table, and that's the kind of the framework for our engagement at the United Nations level, is that we do that specifically through this special committee on decolonization. But even beyond that, there are a number of mechanisms that we have a right to utilize. And so, for example, when we last week we talked about why we participate regularly at the Conference on Island Sustainability, and it's because the Guam Green Growth movement is tied to that conference, and G3 is built around the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And because of that, right, because the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are widely accepted, adopted, recognized by the various member states of the UN, it means then that we can engage on certain issues, certain forum and committees and whatnot, right? We can engage at that level in regard to the UN SDGs and the ways that these things impact us. And so, what we're trying to do here at this conference is bring different experts in and show people, have a discussion about ways that we can have agency, ways that we can assert our voices, that people from the community can participate in different levels of engagement, locally, regionally, internationally. And of course, there's, the federal element. A lot of people criticize the Commission on Decolonization because we go to the UN and they say we shouldn't waste our time at the UN. We should only be engaging with the federal government. But we engage with the federal government every day. And that's just kind of the necessary evil of being a territorial dependency, is that you rely on the federal government for resources. And, that's just kind of the deal, right? If you're going to cut us off from the rest of the world, then, we still got to be able to operate. And so, of course, we're funded by the federal government. And so my perspective is that federal engagement shouldn't just be, for one, it shouldn't be exclusive. We shouldn't only talk to the federal government in regard to our self-determination. But I think that it's more the opposite. I think that our government as a whole should engage with the federal government in such a way where decolonization and self-determination is always tied in. It's always attached. You're not going to talk to us about, the buildup or public housing or, road infrastructure or tax code or whatever, without also talking about self-determination and decolonization, which is exactly what our neighbors in the freely associated states did at the United Nations. They would go and talk about environmental degradation or preservation, environmental protection, talk about coral reefs or endangered species, talk about, sea level temperature or sea level rise and sea temperatures, and whatever the case is, whatever it is that they're talking about, they're always attaching their decolonization issue and asserting that they should be fully self-governing and they should be members of the United Nations. And they successfully navigated that path, which is awesome. And so I really feel like that's where we should be at. That's the way that we should approach our political self-determination and decolonization, is that it should kind of come with the unincorporated territory. You know what I mean? It should just always be attached, no matter what we're talking about with the feds or with the international community. We should consistently advocate for self-government and for political self-determination. Like, there's no way around it. You want to talk to us about our turtles? Well, we need to be decolonized and fully self-governing if you want to protect said turtles. I'm all about this. I'm super all about it. And so we're, of course, I'm doing the plug here. I'm inviting everyone to attend the Fanjita conference in May 6th and 7th. If you're interested, registration for the conference is free. It's open to the community. You can visit bit.ly/Fanjita25, or you can just visit decall.guam.gov, and it'll give you a link to the registration. We're of course gonna get invitation out to our young people, and so unfortunately this is not like we can't do like the school-wide all-day field trip, transportation funded. So it's gonna be up to students to to coordinate their absence from their classes, get their parents' permission to attend the conference, but it is open to young people as well. So it's a worthy thing to miss school for. My parents never let me skip school. Well, I take it back. My dad did let me skip school when the Tatakitu was running. Yeah, my dad was a fisherman, so when it was jamming, he would like call the school and be like, "My son has a dental appointment." And I get in the truck and he's in his fishing gear, and I was like, "Where are we going?" "Boy, the Tatakitu's running. Let's go." Yes. But other than that, I was not allowed to skip school for like, Super Bowl. My mom totally made us go to school. It's messed up. But if I told my parents that I wanted to skip school because I really needed to go learn me something at the decolonization conference, I feel like my parents would let me go. Hey, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, parents. If your teenager is showing an interest in full self-government, Tomorrow's self-determination, and Guam's decolonization, let them attend this conference. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, we will be running some live streaming and recording. Of course, we have a limited capacity at the conference, but we are doing everything we can to expand the reach so that people who are not able to physically attend or who aren't able to catch registration before it caps, hopefully we can still get people to experience the conference on their own. So the conference, of course, is just a piece of what we do regularly at the Commission on Decolonization. If you're out there and you're interested in some outreach, you got an organization that you want to connect with, want us to connect with, or you want to incorporate what we're doing, well, we'd be happy to work with you. The NASW conference is coming up, the National Association of Social Workers Guam chapter. Shout out to the social workers out there. My wife is a social worker. She's awesome. And so, we're excited to collaborate with them. They invited me to be a speaker at their conference, and we happily accepted because the School of Social Work at the University of Guam is one that we're particularly proud of. If you didn't know, the School of Social Work at the University of Guam is, I think, the only institution that recognizes very clearly the role of decolonization in their framework. So the way that they teach social work at the University of Guam is very deliberate about acknowledging the impacts of 500 years of colonization and the way that this experience and disempowerment of our people has really contributed to the social challenges that we experience today. And so, it's not, if we're gonna make an impact, for example, on poverty and homelessness, then we can't just put Band-Aids on the problem, right? We have to acknowledge that there's this long history of circumstances, right? Long history of colonization that has created these different manifestations. When you push a people out of their land and they have to, build their homes elsewhere, you cut them off from a food source or from, a clan connection, then you create, these other factors in society that contribute to homelessness and poverty and drug abuse and addiction. And so it's a really cool thing. We really appreciate the way that the School of Social Work does this, that the way that they push social workers out into our professional community in Guam, and that we take these factors into account when they're doing their work. So shout out to all the social workers out there who are doing the good work. It is a thankless job, but thank you. So, and we have we also have Dr. Lisa Natividad confirmed for our conference to participate in the COD conference, as well as Dr. Damas. So thank you to those two professionals for agreeing to collaborate with us. Long dramatic pause, sorry. I was hydrating, guys. I'm hydrating. It's been an hour and 40 minutes, or 36 minutes to be exact. I'm totally blah-blahing. The number's 922-1051, 922-1052. Or you can hit us a comment on the live stream, and we'll be happy to get back to you. My name is Melvin. If you're just tuning in, we are talking about Fanhita Remix Rewind. Fanhita conference is coming up on May 6th and 7th. It is the annual conference for the Commission on Decolonization. And I'm super pumped about this one, guys. We didn't have a Fanhita conference last year, and it was tough, but I'm happy to say that the reason why we couldn't have a Fanhita conference is because my wife was giving birth around that time. And this is not a good time. I needed to be there. We're going to raise the nanny. It's important. So it was just difficult timing for our family, but definitely worth it. Super worth it. And now I'm extra motivated because we have not had one in a while. And, I got a new addition to our clan that that makes this work a lot more relevant. And it always is. It should be. I agree with you, Reese, that these young people gotta not only get engaged, but our mañana and our mid-uncle, we gotta get in line, guys. We gotta get with the program. I really feel like, it needs to be a collaborative effort. I'm really hoping for a good mix of participation from youth and some of our mañana or our Saina. We're excited that we have good partnerships with the Guam Youth Congress. Actually, two of the elected leaders in the Guam Youth Congress are attendees they have attended the Fanhita conference. They've been involved with the discussion and some of the campaign and outreaching with their youth organizations, the Youth for Decolonization Club. And so it's cool. It's cool to bring young people in at this level. It's super cute. Super cute. Don't make it demeaning, Melvin. I don't mean it's not. I mean this in the most loving and affectionate way, but it's super cute when our young people are like, they're learning the procedure. And it's fun because these guys are senators, right? Like that's what the Guam Youth Congress is. You get elected and like you serve and you have session, you go through all the same like procedures, and you can actually introduce legislation. If you can pass it through the Guam Youth Congress, you can get it onto, public law through the legislative process. But it allows an avenue for that. And so it's fun. It's fun working with these young people where they're like learning the procedure. And they're still young. These guys are not not too far removed from high school. Wait, are our guys in high school? No, right? I think they graduated. Our two youth congress collaborators. But when they're learning the procedure, it's a cool thing to see young people engaging in the process. And learning these things. I gotta tell you guys, I won't mention names, but I seen some of these elected officials that didn't do their homework. I mean, call me a nerd, but I'm the type, when we play a new board game, I like to read the instructions first. I know it's a little weird, it's a little dated. Maybe you watch the YouTube tutorial. That's cool too. You can watch the YouTube tutorial. I'm not mad about it. But I mean, if it's a high level game, like the governing of a people and a nation, I think it's smart to learn the rules first. Just saying. Just saying. I mean, I've seen some unnecessary arguing and bickering on public television because somebody didn't know the procedure, man. It's fail, guys. That's a fail, guys. It's a fail to your constituency, all the people who had confidence and voted you in and expected you to conduct the people's business with dignity. Is that too much to ask? That's why shout out to the youth congress that's over here learning the procedure before they become elected officials. And it's not to say that just because you've been in youth congress means you know the procedure and that you actually do the right thing. But, it's still good prep. And I encourage you to learn what your job is before you do the people's business. Just saying. Food for thought. Food for thought. But yeah, we got the youth congress involved in this next conference, which is going to be a cool thing. And I really look forward to continuing to work with the youth congress. I know that one of the major things they've been pressing on is they want to create representation for the youth at an advocacy level. So currently under Guam law, the Guam Youth Congress is a represented board member for the Commission on Decolonization. So we have a number of board members. We do all of our work based on the approval and the instruction of the board. The governor, as by law, the governor of Guam is always the chair of the Commission on Decolonization board. And then she sits with the 3 representatives from the legislature. One is the speaker, one is the representative for the minority, and the other is whoever is chair of Federal and Foreign Affairs Committee at the Guam legislature. And then there are 2 members at large, and then every political status task force has 1 representative or 1 vote. So the task force for free association, the task force for independence, the task force for statehood each have their own representative, which is usually the chair of their task force. And then there's a youth Congress rep. And so it's cool to have already a voice and representation by the Guam Youth Congress. But one of the things that they're working on is that they want a task force. They want to, or either a task force or to a mechanism to allow them to have like a designated role or place within the existing task forces. And so it's a cool thing. It's a exciting time to see young people saying, we want in. We want to be involved in this conversation. We want to participate. We want to have agency and help dictate the way that it moves forward, which I got to say is a cool prospect. The conversation around the Davis case is obviously a very complex discussion. But nonetheless, even the attorney general and multiple attorneys have weighed in and said that if a non-government organization takes on the referendum, takes on the actual vote, they could run the vote as a native inhabitant vote, and there are mechanisms to have that vote become legitimate or recognized. And I think the exciting thing about that, one of the things or intriguing thing, I should say, the thing that really intrigues me about the prospect of a non-government organization facilitating the vote is that they're not bound to the rules of a government-led plebiscite. And of course, a government-led vote is important. I think absolutely. I think that's why Guam law was fashioned in the way that it was and passed in the way that it was because there was a demand from the community that the government have their backs on this one. The government, stand with the rights of the Tomoto people to exercise self-determination, and they wanted it to be government-led. But that said, once we get into the NGO realm, they can, whoever that NGO is, they can determine how they want to run their election. And it could be as simple and straightforward as saying, oh, we're going to just adopt the same rules and regs that the Guam Election Commission uses, which is all public information, right? I mean, that's just government operations, which is all public access. So they could adopt those procedures identically. They could take a piece of them, or they can fashion their own. But I mean, just think about the prospect of what happens if an NGO says, we want to make voter eligibility start at 15. We want 15-year-olds to vote in this plebiscite because young people are going to be, inheriting this status. That would be crazy. I don't think I mean, something this big, it's so unpredictable. You can't even predict the youth vote, right? The youth vote is considered 18 to, 30? I feel like they keep moving the number up because if they don't move the number up, then there's nobody there. 18-year-olds don't vote, man. I don't know what it is. 18-year-olds do not vote. But what if the vote was for the fate of the island? Would they? I mean, it's so hard to predict, even in the almighty local exit poll in Guam. It's so hard to predict what the youth vote will or won't do. And their demographic just dwarfs the largest voting bloc in Guam. But it's just, mobilizing them is historically been a challenge, and hence they're unpredictable. But how much more unpredictable is it if you open it up to even younger people? I mean, at one point I know that you can do early voting for if you're 17 by the primary, but you will be 18 before the general. Then there's a way that you can register to vote and participate, and your vote counts in the primary, which is a pretty cool thing. But, that's still, I think, a very small demographic. I mean, you're really just doing the consideration for that year, those aging in at that year. But if you open it up to 15-year-olds, I mean, that's a whole graduating class, right? I mean, that's pretty wild. And what would that look like? I mean, they could even change the voting. Like, it doesn't have to be on one day. They could do like every weekend during Mes Tomoru. Every Friday, Biba Betness. Every Friday in Mes Tomoru, you can vote for Tomoru self-determination. Yes. Oh, man. I'm going to have to quit my job, guys. I'm going to have to quit my job and go work at the NGO. That'd be exciting. That would be exciting. I'm not going to lie. That was one of the things that made me selfishly heartbroken. I was already heartbroken when the Davis case was decided in the Ninth Circuit Court. That was already a tough one, but I was personally disappointed when I realized that I'm working in this office and now we're not allowed to, one of the exciting pieces of the mandate was that the COD is responsible for facilitating the referendum. And of course, we wouldn't do this alone, right? We'd have to partner with other agencies, but we would lead it. We would be like the lead agency. And it's just like seeing that moment, you know what I mean? The moment when we're about to assemble Voltron or Power Rangers for all you young heads. We was about to assemble the big robot, but then game over with Davis case. Now we have to pivot. Gotta find another way. But anyhow, anything exciting? Is somebody calling to talk to us?
No, somebody did totally call. There we go. I hung up on them on accident.
Sorry. I think we have a caller. It's our first caller for the show, guys. We're almost out of here. We got 10 minutes left. Oh, but there are people listening. I'm getting the thumbs up on the live stream. Thanks for listening, listeners. I appreciate you guys.
All right, so I have Joe on the line.
Oh, we do have a caller. Sweet. Hafaday, Joe, you're on the air.
No, is that only the U.S. citizen that can vote?
Sorry, what do
on
you...
the Organic Act or other citizen?
Sorry, you're talking about voting for the Organic Act?
No, under the Organic Act.
Are you talking about the referendum?
The U.S. citizen only, or anybody?
Are you talking about for political status?
Yeah.
So when the original Guam law that was passed designated voter eligibility, you had to be made a U.S. citizen by the Organic Act of Guam and you had to be a registered voter in Guam in order to vote. So that means that it would only be limited to people who were made U.S. citizens because of the Organic Act of Guam, and of course their descendants.
Okay.
That was the original law. That's the law that was defeated in the Davis case in the Ninth Circuit Court. But the law has not been repealed. It's still in the books in Guam. It's just that the court won't allow it to happen the way that it's written. So if we want to have a government-led plebiscite, then the legislature would have to draft a new law and repeal that law and change the voter eligibility.
Okay. That's the only reason why I called, because I assume that only a U.S. citizen on the Organic Act can vote.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's the way that the legislature wrote the law and passed the law. And so it had a public hearing and everything, went through the legal process here in Guam. But when that law was challenged by the Davis case,
right,
when it lost at the Ninth Circuit Court, that's when, it kind of ruled it out. So now either if the legislature wants to host the vote, then or if the government wants to host a vote, then the legislature will need to change the law so that any U.S. citizen who is registered in Guam can vote in the plebiscite, or a non-government organization can do their own plebiscite and make it only the citizens who are made, the people who are made citizens by the Organic Act.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah. All right.
Adios. Yeah. See, Davis case was widely talked about, but there are still a lot of people who have questions. And this is, I think this is part of the exciting task, is that there's so much to discuss and there's so much to learn, and the impacts are just undeniable. And so, Fanhita Conference is always a fun run for us because it's rare that we get a chance to organize something where we have, a large group of people all in one place with the same kind of desires in mind, right? They all want more information. They all want to be able to engage and have discussions with other people about what we're doing to move this thing forward. And I think we just have to kind of recognize that we're in a different time, a different era of the work. During the Commonwealth Draft Act era, I felt like, if you read that history, I was just a kid at that time. But if you look at that history, one of the exciting things was that it was so widely demanded. People everywhere in Guam, and they put it to a vote, got overwhelming support from the majority. And so a lot of people were very tuned in and deliberate about saying, this is what we want. We want Commonwealth. We want Commonwealth now. And so, there was a direction, which is, obviously by nature is different than what we got now, right? We still need to vote and choose. I think it would be different if we had already voted and chosen a political status and we're just pursuing that status and everybody's on board with that. But I still think that there's ways that we can kind of shape our effort so that we're moving forward as a collective towards the goal that we agree on. And I think the goal we should agree on is the right to decide, the right to choose our political status and to have those desires recognized and respected. And so, even though there's inevitably people who differ on their perspective, whether they want Guam to become a state or want Guam to become freely associated or want Guam to become independent, I think we can all agree that we want a free and informed choice, right? We want to be able to decide that freely and to be informed about what we're choosing. And so, that's the way that I hope that our conversation will shape, is that everybody is in tune. We all know that this current status is inequitable, it is inferior, and it'll never be good enough if we hope to grow and change and, create a Guam with a future. And if we want to change that, we want to improve that, then the only way forward is to a sovereign status, a fully self-governing status. And whatever that may be, I think that's what we all need to insist, that we have a right to decide and we need to make that decision. And then once we battle it out and whatever status is chosen, then we all unite around that status, even if it's not our pick. That's my pledge. That is my pledge. I have my preference too, homie. I do. I won't tell you what it is because that would not be appropriate. I'm supposed to be the neutral guy in this job. I'm still on the clock right now. You want to know my personal preference, you got to check me off the clock. But whatever if the people of Guam, I've thought about this a lot. I've studied all the statuses enough to feel like I know I feel comfortable in what I would choose. But I've also studied them enough to know that I mean it when I say every single one of these statuses is better than what we got now. It's not even close. Even the one that I think is the worst out of the three, of course I ranked them, right? That's how I made my pick. 1, 2, and 3. Number 3 is like light years ahead of what we got now. And so I feel confident, that if even in the scenario of a referendum, if we were to choose and the majority chose a status that was not the one I would have picked or preferred, I mean, I'm not king. I'm not the king of Guam. If the majority prefers another status, then that's what it is, man. That's what we're going to go after. And maybe that's going to be a tough pill to swallow at that time. And yeah, maybe I might moan and groan and be like, I told you guys you should have picked this, man. See? After that night, you made your bed, now you got to sleep in it. But I will go hard on that status. Whatever that status is, whether it's independence, free association, statehood, and it's not my pick, I would go to town. And I would be a super advocate for that status. And I really think it's pick your poison, but that's the beauty of it. That's what I love about the conference, is that people come in with different ideas of what they want for the future, but they all know that they all know that in order to get there, we need to have access to a choice. We need to have access to our right to self-determination. And that's my cue, because it is the top of the hour. Reese didn't even realize that she was checking me and being like, hey, you're going off again, and we're at the top.
If I'm not checking you, the system is.
Yep, that's for real. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in and for catching the show again. We will be back next Monday, 10 a.m. to noon. You're listening to Wave 105.1 FM, and this has been Challenge the Status Quo. Have a great day, everyone.
UMFM, Daddy No. The talk of Guam is Wave 105 FM.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Stacey Lynn. Lawmakers are speaking out about the Maryland man mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen made the trip there last week and met with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. On Face the Nation, he said the Trump administration needs to abide by the court order and get him home.
The Supreme Court of the United States and the other courts have said that the administration has to facilitate his return. As of right now, they are in defiance of that court order. They're not doing anything.
Republican Tom Emmer told CNN,
you have a citizen of El Salvador that is within the country of El Salvador. It really isn't the U.S.'s ability to go in and remove someone. It'll be up to the president of El Salvador.
But both the White House and El Salvador's president have made it clear they don't intend to bring him back. Among the faithful at the Vatican on this Easter Sunday, the American Vice President.
Easter greetings between the Pope
Happy Easter to you, Father.
And Vice President J.D. Vance.
I know you've not been feeling great, but it's good to see you in better health.
The Pope and the Vice President, a Catholic convert, have clashing views on the Trump administration's treatment of migrants, among other topics. Vatican officials had no comment on the brief meeting. A little later, an archbishop would read aloud the pontiff's Easter speech, deploring the contempt that is stirred up towards the vulnerable, the marginalized, and migrants, without singling out any countries or individuals. Vicki Barker, CBS News, London.
Mother Nature not being too nice to the nation's midsection. Nathan Went with the Storm Prediction Center.
We have ongoing storms right now, just about to enter parts of western Arkansas and western Missouri. That'll continue and move eastward with time.
EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin defended the freezing of billions in federal environmental and climate grants. He told CBS,
I have a zero tolerance for any waste and abuse. It is my duty to ensure that I'm an exceptional steward of tax dollars. It is my responsibility to make sure we have more oversight of those funds.
And on this Easter Sunday, a group of churches in Los Angeles County came together for a sunrise service on the beach, marking the 48th year of the tradition. But due to the Palisades fire, the event had to be moved to Santa Monica. Among those leading the service was Pastor Steve Snook, who lost his home in the fire.